been good.
I've heard Doom's really good.
Doom's really
I
good.
am about to open a...
Oh, speaking of which, by the way, I was looking into buying Doom again, and I jumped onto Games website, and you can get a used copy of Doom for $37.99, or you could buy the brand new editions of it, or ones with the UAC patches and posters and shit, for $29.99.
Yeah, I can't remember if I said this. I was in Game the other week, and I saw a used copy of Shovel Knight for the PS4 selling for like £15, and it's $11.99 on the PS Store. But yeah, I'm about to open a loot box.
Cool.
What do I get? I got pink.
I'm about to say something horribly racist.
Probably don't.
I know.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I got a highlight intro for Roadhog. He grabs the camera with his hook and then pulls it towards him. It's really good. It's probably the top 3 highlight intros I've got. You should buy Overwatch. No.
I don't know why. I just haven't. Probably because I'm on the Xbox One, have no one to play with. But like, like I've just got no hype for Overwatch whatsoever just now.
You could play with Sean. I think he bought it on the Xbox.
That's like the one person to play with, like.
Yeah, like an entire game with. I've got a couple. I mean,
if
so
Sean
far,
has it, that probably means Stu has it. You could have yourself a wee 3-man team right there.
welcome to the weekly Overwatch podcast. I'm Ali Hay. That's Mark Gibson. That one.
Hi.
And that's Darren Fotheringham.
Hi.
There we go. Yeah, today is Saturday the 11th of June 2016.
Last podcast before E3.
That's what you think.
No,
I'm
it
going
is.
to do one tomorrow myself. It's going to be about Overwatch. I'm never going to stop doing it, Darren. You never know. Always be ready. Always be ready to podcast. One day I'm going to show up at your house with a camera, live stream the whole thing.
You don't want to do that.
What the Facebook live streaming now? That's up and running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to bring a TV, a PS4, a generator, and a PS4 camera.
Why generator? Just use Darren's power. It's fine.
No, because I have to show up at the door live stream.
Oh, right.
God, Mark, have you never punked
someone
before?
Going up like Joey Greco or something? Is that what's happening?
You know you can like
that...
you can shift from your phone, right?
No, that's wildly weird. Who's Joey? Is Joey Greco the Girls Gone Wild guy?
No, Joey Greco's the cheaters guy.
Sorry. Who's the Girls Gone Wild guy?
I don't know.
Didn't he end up in prison?
Probably.
I mean, probably. If you started Girls Gone Wild, at some point you're probably going to end up in prison.
To be fair, probably Joey Greco did as well, but that's.
There's
an episode. There's an episode where apparently he's stabbed by someone that they investigate on, but there's no police report or anything, so people think it's fake.
Yeah, it's fake. Of course, it's fake.
That show's terrible.
I've never watched it ever.
Oh, you should treat yourself. You should treat yourself. Absolutely.
I watch
terrible.
a lot of terrible things.
Oh, but like Cheers is just like grade A, just crap. It's just.
What was the one I watched? I mean, Take Me Out is pretty good if you want good garbage TV.
I would say Cheers is probably worse than that, to be honest.
But like, Take Me Out is not one I would watch alone. It's like a bunch of people with nothing better to do, getting drunk.
Looking at a human cattle market on TV.
Yeah! Isn't that great?
No, this is horrible even listening to this inane conversation about this bollocks idea of a TV show.
Oh, I love Take Me Out. It's awful, but it's a great kind of awful.
No.
Darren only watches live performances of Tchaikovsky music, and that's it.
Indeed I do. Nothing else.
Nothing else. E3 is going to be a bitch for you.
Oh.
I can't hear anything over this Tchaikovsky music. Just turn it down, Darren. Just turn it. That's all you need to do.
Oh, he swirls his port in a big glass.
Yeah. Little does he know he's live. How are you, Darren?
Right, Ali, how are you?
All right. Tired. Usual.
You should get more sleep.
Doesn't seem to help.
I woke up surprisingly refreshed this morning. Like, I think it's the longest sleep I've had this week. So
4 hours.
Longer than that.
I don't know how many hours.
I normally have to get up at like
get.
6 a.m. and like this morning it was like 10 o'clock. It was like, whoa.
I also don't know what time you go to bed.
I went to bed like 1, half 1, somewhere about there. So.
It's fascinating.
All good. It was all good.
Was it how much of it was good?
All good.
Okay. So guys, I've been playing a lot of Overwatch. And I know you don't want to hear about it, but I'm going to talk about it. That's the joys of having the start broadcast button.
Did the outline changes worry you in any way?
No, I think some of the changes that they're...
I heard McCree getting nerfed. That was about as much as I
Yeah,
picked up on.
D.Va's meant to be getting buffed, which would be good. Because I really like playing as her, but I just feel she could use a little bit more range more than anything else. But no, like, I mean, patch notes have never been a huge thing for me anyway, but...
I really like patch notes for some reason. Whether it's not I'm playing a game or not, I just like to read through them and just see what they do with it.
It's definitely interesting to see, like, the changes being made to a game that relies so heavily on balance.
Doom had patch notes this week. I'm just like, okay.
Punch harder, shoot better.
Like, we'll talk about it in the news, but they made some serious changes to that game by the looks of things.
To Doom?
Yeah. Like, the company that was making the multiplayer has been kicked off the multiplayer. So,
what's that?
Splash Damage.
Yeah, Brink guys?
Yes, it was. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a Bethesda game, wasn't it?
Yeah! The snake
what-
eating its own tail, Mark.
What happened to that game?
It came out.
Had no content.
I think it had content. I just don't think anyone played it.
No, didn't it have like 2 maps?
I never played Brink.
I think it had like 2 maps, and then they didn't add anything else to it.
I just know Brink didn't do particularly well.
That's why E3 this year, Brink 2.
Brink 2.
Brink harder.
Please no. Brink hard for vengeance.
A good day to Brink hard.
We always end up talking about the Die Hard series.
I don't know. It's just the go-to thing when there's a sequel. So Overwatch.
Brink forever after. Yeah, Overwatch.
Brink.
Sorry. Brink to the future. Yeah, well, no. I really don't like the new Brink Busters. I think they're ruining my childhood with it.
Jurassic Brink. Sorry, wait, we should stop this. This is just going to go on forever if we do keep doing this.
Brinkiana Jones. Yeah, so last week I'd only played like a couple of matches before I started the podcast. So I've pretty much really delved into it. I think I just hit level 20. So I've opened 20 loot boxes. I've not bought any yet.
Oh, I was about to ask that question.
Yeah.
As whether or not you.
Their pricing model is exactly the same as Dota keys or Dota chess. I don't know how Dota works now. But it's
it's just chess now, isn't it? There's no keys.
Yeah, because I'm sure they dropped the key thing a long time ago. So it's 169 for 2, and that's the minimum you can get. I mean, that's fine. I do feel that buying the loot boxes would, for at least for me, would take away of part of the joy of leveling up. Like, basically progressing through that.
Well,
game.
especially seeing as there's nothing else really in terms of progression to that game, is there?
There's nothing else in terms of progression in that game at all. They should be adding competitive modes soon. Basically, rank match. because it's just quick play now, and um, their weekly game modes, which this week is Mystery Heroes. So every time you die, you just get a new hero, which is
Alright,
really
okay.
good if you're just wanting to kind of get a feel with everyone. Because people do tend to settle into you'll always see a certain few characters in every match. Torbjorn, the guy who builds turrets, it will always be in a match, and he's really fun. But yeah, I've been playing about with all the characters, and that game's just the more I play it, the more I'm getting into it. Especially when I'm playing with people. Um, Even small amounts of communication can lead to playing a lot better. Just from you can pick characters that complement each other and work together a lot easier. Because I turn off voice chat pretty much as soon as I got off the game.
Do people use it? Do people use the voice chat?
I've heard, yeah, and that there's a lot of play your class.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully that's what competitive mode will be. That those people will just move on to competitive mode.
I think the last competitive game I got into was Halo 5. And even then, nobody used voice chat in that thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've heard that it might be more on PC, but yeah, they definitely do use voice chat. But you don't really I don't feel you ever really need it. The game gives you enough information, just in terms of where your party is, where your part if they're in a fight, you can easily check who's dead on both teams. It's just it is really well designed to where you can play alone and still feel part of a team and contributing and
There are enough visual and audio cues for you to know what's going on.
yeah, and as I said last week, I am a guy who especially on games where there's no narrative, I will put on music and just ignore any sounds coming out the TV. And I just both don't and can't for Overwatch because the sound design plays such a huge part in that game. Every character's ult is preceded by a voice cue, so you know if Bastion's going to turn into the tank because you hear the wee whistle of the robot. You know if Hanzo's going to use the big dragon because you hear him yelling. And I'm not going to pick a language because I'll probably get it wrong. I think it's English.
I would hope you would know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he actually says. But yeah, and that is a huge thing. Just to hear those little bits and know what's coming towards you. But man, it's just so good, so colourful. It plays really well. I got 25 player kill streak. I was pretty pleased with that. And again, that was just me and a mate bumming around, and he went May and I went Diva. So May's the freezing girl.
Right, yep.
And Diva's the one with the mech. So
Okay.
he went around freezing everyone, and I just went around shooting them in the face, and we held them to their spawn point, basically, the entire map. It was a massacre, and a really fun one.
It's always good when you do that.
Yeah.
When Battlefield and Rush mode, where you would just push them all the way back to their base, and then
Ah! Sorry, Dar just posted in what Hanzo's ult says, and it is 100% not English. Mark,
Kuru.
go for it.
Wagateki wo kurayu. Okay.
Okay. All at once.
Is that just is that actual Japanese, or is that just
I know. I just done a quick search, and that's what someone says. He says, "I've never played the game. I've never even heard what he says."
You're the person that knows Japanese, Mark.
Yeah, but I know bits and pieces of Japanese. I don't know every single word in the vernacular now.
Do you know the word for let the? I don't know how Japanese works.
Let that would probably be at the end of the sentence.
Oh.
Or consume would be at the end of the sentence.
Ah.
Yeah, I know Japanese is weird. Japanese sentence structure is weird.
It's Japanese like German, where the verb is at the end of the sentence.
It's German like that?
Yeah, German's like that.
No,
Yes.
German's not like that.
Yes.
That's not.
Ich gehe gern in mein Auto. No, that's just it's like normal.
Yeah,
Like-
it's very like English, the structure of German.
Yeah.
Ich bin in mein Auto gehen. I don't think we know enough about foreign
Yeah.
languages to do this.
Yeah, Japanese sentence structure is that the verb is always at the end of the sentence. So
There's at least cases of that, and maybe it's in the past tense that it does it.
I can't remember.
Ich bin in mein Auto werken. Anyway, yeah, Overwatch is really fun. I'm picking a few, like, most of the characters I can go around and do decent and have a good time, but I'm definitely picking out my favorites. I really like Tracer, who's the girl who.
Oh, the one you follow about in the tutorial.
Yes, that one. That tutorial is
My
really
reference to the
tutorial.
entire game.
Yep. And Soldier 76 is the guy you go in the tutorial. Winston's the gorilla.
Okay.
Yeah, Tracer's the one in the cover.
Yep. Is Winston essentially Gorilla Grodd then? Is that what that is?
Who?
Gorilla Grodd?
The Marvel character?
No, DC character.
DC character? I don't know. Yeah,
That sounds Japanese.
That doesn't sound like what he's saying though. It sounds like he's saying you no longer think you're Grill, and that doesn't make any sense.
Was it Guy Fieri?
I hope not.
There is an amazing Guy Fieri video on YouTube, which is him eating to the Johnny Cash cover of Hurt.
Okay. Do you watch that video a lot, Mark?
No, I saw it. Where did I see it? I can't remember, but like it's just
In my dreams.
it's just so fitting.
I thought you were, for a moment, I thought you were going to say to Gary Jules' Mad World,
No.
which would be a different experience. But yeah, so you guys just have no interest in picking it up so far?
I have absolutely no interest in it at all.
Fair enough.
I don't know why. There's something there that's not clicking for me yet. I don't know. Don't know what it is.
It's too mainstream.
No, it's not.
I think I could play it, and I could play it for a short time with a group of friends, but I think I would get very bored very quickly.
Yeah.
Move on to something else.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I made all the comparisons to Dota before it came out that I'm just like, and I know it's not correct because it's more of a Team Fortress style thing.
Yeah.
But even
That's
then,
it, 'cause even
Team
then,
Fortress didn't really grab me. So
Team Fortress did nothing. I really didn't. It's not that I really didn't like Team Fortress. I just really didn't get into it. It never hooked me at all, and I think it's the variety in this that does it for me. Because Team Fortress is so set in its character types, whereas I mean you can basically point out each Team Fortress person in Overwatch. But
I'm not going to write it off by any stretch. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
but there's also like 13 more of them
Yeah.
after that.
it's going to be one of those cases where I think if I go to it, it'll probably be later down the line.
Mhm.
But yeah, like it's not grabbing me, if that makes any sense. But then I've not really played it
Yeah.
for it to do that. So it might be a case of that I need to play a few matches or something, and then who knows.
Buy PS4.
Well, I'm waiting to see what happens with the Neo. So
Nah, they're not going to say anything about that in E3.
they're not. They're not actually.
This is already been
Am I
flaccid.
spoiling the news? Yeah, the other big thing I've been playing is Uncharted 4.
And you finished
I
Uncharted 4, didn't you?
finished Uncharted 4, and I really, really enjoyed Uncharted 4.
So where does it sit in the pantheon of Uncharted games for you then?
Probably. I'm going to go back and play the collection.
Hmm.
I've never played 1, and I don't think that's going to be my favourite.
No, I guarantee you, 1 will be at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah, 1 was the Assassin's Creed 1 of that series. it set the tone and then allowed them to build.
Yeah, two is
From,
kind of the milestone for the generation. If we
yeah, I think 2 might still be my favourite. But
man,
4
that
is
opening.
definitely second. Yeah, that opening. I mean, 4 has a pretty strong opening.
Yeah,
4's pretty strong most of the way through.
is it half dead climbing up a train, falling like hanging off a cliff?
No, I'm not going to spoil it for you.
I've
Uh,
actually been like I'm actually surprised I've been able to hold off this long on the game and not actually know anything about the plot.
mhm. I mean, there was a few, like, I had my predictions, and most of them didn't pan out. Um, but yeah, no, it's a really, really fun ROM. I mean, visually, it is up there with the best games on console, if not the best. It is an absolutely stunning game. Um,
Did Roddy Piper show up at the end? Is that what happened?
Poor one out.
That's
Why did you have to remind me of that?
I watched Therese play through the end of Central 4, and Roddy Piper just shows up for no reason.
Hulk Hogan and Rob Van Dam are also in that series.
Does Hulk Hogan shut the place down for $140 million? Is that what happens?
Yeah, that's why he just sued THQ.
That's what happens.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the story is really, really good. It's for a video game story, it is probably. I don't want to say great because now the video game stories are moving to a point where they are getting better, but they are usually in games that are more minimal in terms of gameplay. So for something, I'm trying to think of like even something like The Witcher, where I really enjoy the story and I really enjoy the world building. Like there's a lot of down moments. There's a lot of there's as much bad writing as there is good. It's just that that world is so big. But Uncharted is a really good. It's a really fun story. The same way and like and all compared it to Indiana Jones because it essentially is. And it is that it's a fun romp. It's not going to break any barriers in terms of writing, but it's really just it's fun to watch these characters going through this. It's fun to watch their interactions and all the as it has been through the Uncharted series. It's all the little incidental pieces of dialogue as much as it is the big cutscenes.
So is it more consistent this time around? Because one of the things that I had a problem with in Uncharted 3 were that I felt like the writing wasn't as consistent as it could be, and that like the ending really let itself down. If the three felt like the the kind of source thumb of the series that didn't need to be there, like they were just putting a story there for no reason.
I think the story does it. I think they do really well with the story, and they wrap it up in a way I didn't expect. But I really like it is a really satisfying ending, at least for me, to that series. When they're saying it's Nathan Drake's last adventure, and they really put a nail in that. And I'm not going to say in what way, but they really do, and it's handled, I think, very well. The gunplay really still didn't. I got a bit more to grips with it by the end, but it just never grabbed me. I just always felt like I don't know, like I just never had a handle, like a control over his shooting.
That's been Uncharted the series. Yeah. Like that's not something that's changed.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Troy Baker's great in it, and it's got a really good cast of characters again, and I think again that's what 3 was kind of missing, and at certain points had to, it was like let's have all the favourites reappear in 3, Chloe and then, but also like I just didn't think, what was her name, Mar, the evil woman.
Oh, the older woman? I can't remember.
Like, I felt that she just didn't... she just kind of seemed to be a placeholder. Like I never felt like there was any sort of deep rivalry or connection between her and Nate. There was no real reason for them to be embroiled in this big hateful war against each other.
It was very incidental.
Yeah, and four really isn't. It's really like there's a lot of jumping about in time, like flashbacks and stuff in Uncharted 3, and that works in its favor. None of it really feels like just crammed in. They all give it meaning and purpose in terms of this of the narrative and the overall series. But yeah, it's just I just really enjoyed that game. It's again, I don't think it's like one of the best games. It's probably one of my favorite games of this year so far, but in terms of it being best, it's probably not. But it's just so good at just being fun. It's so good at just taking you along for this ride and letting you have a good time. And yeah, if you enjoyed, especially if you enjoyed Uncharted 2, I'd say go and play Uncharted 4.
It's one of those ones that like is definitely on the list for when I
Oh
eventually
yeah,
pick up PS4. Like,
and it's also a game that the multiplayer is not the draw. You don't have to pick that game up now to get
never
the
been the draw.
full benefit.
Never
Yeah.
been the draw.
You don't have to pick that game up now to get the full benefit of it. The single player is where the true meat of that is, and so it's always going to be there for you when you end up picking up a PS4. It's the reason that annoys me that I've not got an Xbox One when Titanfall came out, because it was something I wanted to experience in the zeitgeist, and just can't now. Like that is literally impossible to get that in the ground floor and the way Titanfall was first received, because you've now had things like what one was it? Was it Ghosts or what was it? What the Call of Duty game with that was basically Titanfall without the Titans?
Oh, Advanced Warfare.
Is that not the new one?
No, that's Infinite Warfare. It's Advanced Warfare you're thinking of.
What was Advanced Warfare?
Advanced Warfare is the one
That
with like
was the
the
Kevin Spacey
exoskeleton,
one.
like the robot exoskeleton that you had to like that give you like the jumping abilities.
Was that called Advanced Warfare?
Yes.
That's it. I don't know why. It just makes me think that it's a Game Boy Advance game.
Because it was Ghosts, then Advanced Warfare, then
Black Ops 3?
yeah.
No. Are they on the were they on the 3-year cycle at that point?
Oh, okay.
Because they're now splitting it between the 3 studios, or
Yeah,
not?
they have it in 3 studios.
Because it would have been because it was Infinity Ward that did Ghosts.
No, that was.
That was
What?
Infinity. That was Infinity Ward.
All right. I don't know. There's so much confusion with what's going on with those teams. It's just.
But yeah, so go and play Uncharted 4 when you get the chance. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a really
Ghost
good
was done
game.
by Infinity Ward and Neversoft and Ravensoft.
Well, yeah. The only other thing I was playing was NBA 2K16 because that was one of the free PS Plus games. And I started the Spike Lee story.
Oh God, yeah, that's the.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
That's trash.
I heard it gets even
That's-
more trash towards the end.
Yeah, I know the ending to that. That is real, that's real trash, man. That's... I'd say it's Spike Lee's worst movie, but I've not seen Old Boy.
Oh yeah, neither have I. I don't want to.
Yeah, but no, that's... You seen the original?
Yep.
No, the original NBA 2K16.
Oh no.
No, the original Old Boy is really good. But yeah, just, man... It's more that they must have paid him a lot of money to do that. A lot of money to do that.
It
And
wasn't like
it's-
Jay-Z doing the soundtrack or something.
No,
Was
that was
early?
that was the year before.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, that was the year before where he produced the soundtrack. But that's like if you want music in a basketball game, Jay-Z's probably a pretty good shout. If you want a story mode, I just don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they thought this would turn out to be. because what it is
Terrible
bas- basketball games where
with
you play
ghosts.
a single guy, ghost basketball, cut together with terrible cutscenes and mostly zero story. Like the bit I'm at was I just picked what college I'm going to, and the cutscene that precedes it is him sitting, me with my black twin sister, and I was like, because I was looking at it, and I was like, that's fine. Maybe like they're adopted, or maybe like he's just no, but they just delved straight into just like my black twin with my black parents, and I'm white. I'm just a white guy. And you've got like, and it's your best friends like recording the video where you say what team you're going with, and there's a couple of lines of like, "Oh, sis, you so crazy. I'm gonna miss you when I go to college, and I'll be coming with you. Someone needs to take care of you." And then you pick your college, and he goes, "And I will be attending insert college name." Like, did it take Spike Lee to write that? I mean, I know the parts that Spike Lee definitely wrote, but it's just, I just don't see why they would sink so much money into that to have the product come out so shoddy.
I think it was more of a name thing. I think
Oh,
just to get that name on that
so
box.
bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Like is it Alex Garland that did Enslaved?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm trying to think of any
Yeah,
other.
it was.
Who else? But yeah, Peter Jackson's King Kong.
That's more of a that was a movie adaptation.
Yeah, but didn't Peter Jackson like have a hand in the game as well? I think.
But at least that's a like. It's not like this year Spike Lee's releasing NBA 2K16 the movie, which
You don't know that.
I really hope he does. But no, it's like, nah, man, nah. Because the thing I really like about NBA 2K games is their like be a pro. In most sports games, actually, I prefer like the be a pro, or create your own player and play just as them in the team. And I have to go through the story to just be able to play that. And all the cutscenes are unskippable. All of them. All of them.
They paid the money; they're not going to let you skip them.
At the start of every game, there's at least 2 or 3 minutes of your sister and your best friend just talking absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. He appears to be making drug deals all the time, and she's sassy back to him. Just, oh, it's so bad.
So it's a Spike Lee movie then.
I've only seen like 2 Spike Lee movies.
I don't know if I have. I probably have at some point, but
I've seen Girl 6
not seen that.
at an age where I was probably way too young to see Girl 6. And I can't remember if I've seen any others. What else has Spike Lee made?
Quite a lot.
Yeah!
Oh boy.
No! No!
If you want to go really old, you done Malcolm X.
Not seen that. I don't think I've seen a lot of Spike Lee movies. I'm sure that's not shocking, but I've not seen a lot of Spike Lee movies.
I'm looking at his movie list. Oh, 25th Hour. That was a good movie.
Inside Man. I really liked Inside Man.
Inside Man was alright, yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good heist movie. Willem Dafoe's in it. I'll give you a minute, Mark.
Is he?
Yeah.
Eh.
He is the SWAT captain to Denzel Washington's negotiator.
Oh, okay.
Christopher Plummer's in that movie.
The worst part is I think I have that movie on DVD and I can't remember.
Jodie Foster's in that movie, I think.
Is This is the same movie?
Yeah, it's the Clive Owen movie.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's the right one then.
Jodie Foster's Christopher Plummer's lawyer. Because he has the Nazi gold in the safe, and she's like, Nazi gold, don't touch it.
She's like Bill Bailey. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
We're into HSBC.
Bill Bailey's
Got
in that movie. He plays the inside man. But yeah, that is actually what everything for me, I think. Hi, Markin. Mark, what have you been playing? You said you've not been playing a lot, so
No,
we'll,
I haven't. I
we'll
haven't
go
had
through
much
you.
time to do some actual gaming this week. But anytime I have, I've been on Doom.
I've
I
not heard,
know.
not heard of that.
Yeah, I know. It's this new game, new in the franchise from this developer I've never heard of called id.
Oh, ID software.
ID Software, yeah. No, like I know I talked about it a bunch last week, and I was kind of worried I came off in the throes of like hyperbolic, kind of nonsense.
Fanboyism.
Yeah, but like the more I sit down with that game, because you know what it's like you get super pumped about a game you're playing, and you can be like slightly over dramatic when describing it, but like when things calm down, sometimes your opinion will change. Like I feel like the more time I spend with that game, it cements the fact that how good it is. The level design and just the way that it pans out just gets better with every progressive level. Um, I mean, like, I don't want to spoil too much of the story if that's
I, it kind of is like, for me, from at least from what I've been hearing, that there might not, the story might not be hugely important, but it's definitely enjoyable enough that I wouldn't want to have too much of it spoiled.
yeah, no, like it totally understandable. There have been there have been moments like because I was talking to Dave Rose about it on yeah, I know, right, on Messenger, and he's playing through. I don't know if he's finished it or not, but he's playing through the game on the difficulty lower than when I am. He's saying that's enough for him, but like I definitely feel like playing it on ultraviolence is the way to go because you're always like rattled after a battle, like the,
Battle
the
rattle.
battle rattle. Um, because the sheer amount of enemies and what you have to do to get through it, and there's never a dull moment in the game. You're either looking for stuff to help you progress, or you're just like fighting crazily. Like there was one problem I think I had after the last podcast where I finished a level and I had barely any health or ammo. And the first thing that happened when I walked through the first room was like this massive fight. So I had to like run up to a guy, like chainsaw him, and then like try and get as much health as possible. But one thing that I didn't talk about last week was the rune system.
All right.
So runes can dramatically change the way that you play the game. So you'll find like a rune, and then you'll have to do a trial in order to activate it. So one of the trials might be like you have a specific weapon, you have to get like a certain amount of kills in like a limited amount of time in like this own special arena. Once you do that, you will unlock a rune that like has like a passive ability of like if you kill an enemy, it will drop armor. If you get an enemy into a staggered state, you can do a glory kill from further away. And each one of these will have a challenge attached to it. And if you complete that challenge in game, the effects will be even greater. So I'm currently rocking like if you kill an enemy, it'll drop more ammo or pickups. You kill an enemy, it will drop armor, which is vital in the difficulty I'm playing, and also that I can glory kill from further away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's like about 8 or 9 of them. And I've missed a few, which is really annoying. So I'm gonna have to go back and get a bunch of stuff that I've collected previously. I just got a very specific weapon that is iconic to the franchise, shall we say?
Fist.
No, there's no actual unarmed combat in that game.
Really?
Yeah, no, because the first thing you do when you wake up is you pick up a pistol. So
Is there not a power up that allows you to go run around and punch people?
yeah, oh yeah, so there is. Yeah, there's a berserk power up that basically
That's always been there.
every enemy that you run up to, you basically just do a glory kill. It's great because you run up to the imps and you basically just put your hands on either side of their head and just tear them in half.
Oh, that's
It's so good. But yeah, that game is super fucking fun. I really want to go and finish it this weekend before all the E3 stuff starts. But yeah, no, like absolutely adore that game. I
yeah.
think I just what like I know it might be a ways off, but I want this to be the first game on Xbox One that I've 100% like achievement wise. So I'm gonna keep digging at it until I get there. I got plenty of time because as I said Deus Ex is the next game I'll be picking up on that. So plenty of time before something new comes out. No, like I'll report more in once I've had a shot like of finishing it. Like as I say, like I only got to play like a couple hours, like did a couple more levels.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just want to double down on what I said last week. I know I was in the throes of fanboyism, but like great level design, great gunplay. The pace of the game is just relentless in terms of battles. Like it's just super refreshing. That is like I can't remember the last time I came away from a shooter like just going like, man, they did something good with this that hadn't been done before. I think the last time I did this was maybe like Bad Company 2. There was nothing. Yeah, like, and that was a while ago. So
Did that come out before or after Modern Warfare 2? After?
I want to see after.
I think it was after.
Yeah,
I remember Modern Warfare 2. It was a good game.
it was all right.
That was
Yeah,
a good game.
it was all right.
That was
Remember
a.
that? Remember the
Remember,
favela level?
remember Spec Ops?
Yeah, Spec Ops was all right.
Spec Ops was awesome.
Yeah. I think because it reminded me when you were talking about you going and bumping like a difficulty up from the normal.
Yep.
Um, like I think Modern Warfare was the big one that stood out to me is when I did that. It was either the second hardest or hardest difficulty I put it on, right from the get go, and it gave that little apart from that favela level, it gave that little bit of extra challenge where it felt like I was constantly pinned, like I had to push forward. It
Yep.
felt challenging but not impossible because eventually you force yourself to just rise to that level. Um, and it can create more tense moments, more exciting moments, rather than if you're because I'd rather go in and it be a bit too hard than go in and it be a bit too easy where I'm wiping everything out, and I just feel like a god living in like
Yeah, I think you definitely have to be very careful about how you do that because, like, a lot of cases, if you crank the difficulty up, like enemies just become like more resilient to damage.
yeah
I think Doom's very smart in the way that it does it because the it's not like a case of like, oh, I feel constantly out and like that I can't do this. Like, they're very smart in the way that they limit the amount of ammo that you can like. There's ammo scarcity, so you have to be quite tactical about what you're doing.
also it's a survival shooter.
No. Like in terms of like you'll like dump like because there's no reloading, you'll just dump like your entire weapon's worth of ammo like while you're fighting. But like you're like, okay, well if I switch to the chainsaw, I can get around like
There's no
ammo back.
reloading. There's no reloading in that
There's
game.
no reloading in Doom.
There's no reloading in
No,
that
that
game.
takes time away from the killing. Why would you
So
do
there's
that?
no reloading, but there is ammo. Whereas
Oh yeah.
Overwatch, there's no ammo, but there is reloading.
So yeah, so like they keep you're always like trying to force yourself to try and find ammo. So like if you're in mid fight, you run out of ammo with a weapon, you just run forward, just chainsaw a guy, you'll get it back, and then like there's always like the push forward mentality. So there's not a case of like, oh, these enemies are just like stupidly hard now. It's a case of like, okay, there's more of them this time, so I have to be more tactical. Like I have to use the environment to my advantage. They're more aggressive as well, so they'll chase you like further up and jump after you.
So the difficulty changes more their behavior rather than just
Yeah,
their
like
health.
it's almost like like the change of Halo, when, like where you go from normal to like heroic or like
Mhm.
legendary because they bring more of that AI stuff in there, but also
Yeah.
the changes they make to it as well, and that you never feel like you're being nerfed.
Mhm.
Like like gun damage is lowered. It's a case of like you have to be more tactical about what you're doing, and like keep an eye on your ammo, keep an eye on your health, change your runes so that you know, like, okay, if I do this, I can survive for longer. Like, it's just,
It forces you to play better, not just to
yeah.
play for longer.
And also, it forces you to be, like, super comfortable at the choices you're making in terms of leveling up, well, like, progressing your character. Of like,
Yeah.
right, where do I want my upgrades to go? Where do I want my weapon upgrades to go? Like the shotgun, the secondary fire is like a grenade launcher. Let's just throw everything into that. It's like there's
Is it just Bulletstorm?
no, it's not. It's like
It's
because
good. Ha!
How dare you? You could kick guys into cactuses.
Yes,
I
well,
enjoyed
Pull them
Bulletstorm.
back. I really enjoyed Bulletstorm. Bulletstorm was a fun game.
it was a terrible game.
That's not true.
I hated
I'll-
every second I had to play it.
That's different from it's a terrible game.
It was terrible because there was nothing good about it.
That's 100% not true though. It had interesting weapons. It was really vibrant and colourful for what kind of shooter it was, and that really played into it.
Skill kills.
The skill kills were actually really fun once you got a grips to all the weapons. They were great to mess about with. I really like the one where you fire the spinning basically stake and it would just spin around them. Great.
Or like the chain like mine gun thing, that was pretty cool as well. It would wrap around them and then just explode.
The bit where you're riding the giant rancor-like thing, and he gets really sad when it dies. I'm really gutted I traded that game in. I should try and find a copy of
I don't
Bulletstorm.
think I still have it either. But
Because it was, I mean, you can get through that game in 6 hours, 8 hours.
yeah, it's really cheap on Steam, I think.
Yeah,
But no, like just going back to Doom is great, and I'm gonna play more of it and finish it. And you should all play Doom,
and
all of you. What?
And Bulletstorm.
And Bulletstorm.
Yeah, I think Overwatch is pretty much taking up my first-person shooter time at the moment.
Till you play Doom, and then you'll be like,
Till I play Doom, and then I'll be like, "Pff," and then I'll complete Doom, and then I'll be like, well, Overwatch is here. Darren,
Ali,
how's not playing Overwatch and Doom?
great. Well, maybe not Doom, because I actually am interested in playing Doom, but it's great not playing Overwatch.
We're glad not to have you.
I'm very happy that you're not having me.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing a little bit of Dark Souls 3.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, surprising.
Yeah.
But mostly I have been playing Dead by Daylight.
What?
It's,
Is that Dark Souls like?
no, it's
Oh.
a 4 versus 1 asymmetrical survival game.
Asymmetrical?
It's like,
Asynchronous?
that's what I meant to say, yes. I meant to say asynchronous. Don't I said asymmetrical there? Yes, it is. It's kind of like Evolve,
Good start.
but it's better than Evolve.
And that people are playing it.
Yes, there are lots of people playing the game. It's currently in beta. It comes out in 4 days. No, wait, 5 days, 16th, I think it gets released. It leaves beta at the end of the 12th, so end of tomorrow. And the concept is kind of horror movie genre-esque. It's for people who are trying to escape from a killer. And his goal is to try and sacrifice you to some unknown thing that's just been deemed as the entity, or whichever one on Reddit is calling Jeff.
Is it like what's? From what you're describing, it sounds like a slasher movie.
Darn right, it is asymmetrical.
Wait, asymmetrical?
Yeah.
Yeah! I knew I had the right
What
word.
does that like? What does that mean?
It's not like in Overwatch you're playing as like 5 man against 5 man. So
Oh
it's
right, because
combat.
the teams are
This is 4 versus 1, so it's an
right,
asymmetrical survival game.
right.
You either play as the killer, who
Yeah, right.
in the beta is only limited to one character, so it's a kind of Jason Voorhees type character. It's a guy with a big mask with a machete. Well, not really a machete, it's kind of cobbled together, weird looking weapon, but it's essentially a machete, and he has bear traps that he uses.
Okay.
There are these massive meat hooks. The idea is the killer needs to either trap you to grab you or hit you twice with his machete, and then he'll put you on a meat hook, and your teammates have a limited amount of time to try and get you off that meat hook. If he kills all 4 of you, obviously he wins. The survivor's goal is to activate 5 out of 8 generators that powers a door that lets you out.
It's a slasher sim.
It's
It's
a
a
Slenderman game.
It's really good though.
It's a Slenderman game.
It is so much fun.
It's a multiplayer Slenderman game where one person plays Slenderman.
No, it's a lot more difficult than that, because
That would.
it is in areas like are quite heavily wooded areas with a couple of buildings. It is, in every way you can describe it, a typical slasher horror movie. Like, it's all the tropes are in there, like
What?
that weird house with all the stuff in it. Oh.
So is this like a third-person like action game then, or is this?
Depends on who you're playing as. If you're playing as one of the survivors, it's third person. The idea of giving a greater range of sight so you can try and avoid the killer. And if you're playing as the killer, it's first person.
Okay.
Each has their own kind of ability set. If you're playing as the killer, when you are looking in the general direction of someone, the music kind of paces up a little bit to try and help you find them, but you won't know which part of your screen that they're on because they might be hiding behind something. If someone runs, you can see a trail on the ground that lasts for a few seconds, so you can try and chase someone. If someone blows up, the idea when you're trying to fix a generator is you get skill checks. So circle with a little bar that goes around, you need to get it to stop inside a fixed area. If you do it too soon or too late, you fail the skill check, or if you just ignore it, you fail the skill check, and it makes the power generator short circuit for a short time, but it also alerts the killer to your position. So that it becomes a, do you stay here and try and repair the generator, or do you run away? If you're playing as the survivor, if the killer is near you, you hear a heartbeat. The closer it is, the faster the heartbeat beats. And it's just I can't even describe how good it is. It's a lot of fun.
It sounds really interesting.
It is a lot of fun. The only big problem I've really had with the game so far is some killers that are little bitches, because the idea of the game being, let's say, the killer has to sacrifice all 4 people. Or actually, technically, the killer wins if he sacrifices one person, but ideally, you want to sacrifice all 4. And the way to do it is to get them to stay on the meat hooks until this god-type creature that there's no explanation behind kills all of them. And this happens after a certain amount of time. Like, it's essentially a minute timer until you go from just being put on the hook to being you're dead without no options of getting off. You either try to pull yourself off the hook, but if you fail pulling yourself off, there's about a 10% chance of getting off. You lose a large chunk of your health, that's your time remaining, or one of your teammates pulls you off to save you. A lot of killers do what I think is quite a smart thing, is put a trap down at your feet so that if someone tries to rescue you, you trap the person trying to rescue you. But
That's very good.
But more common now is for them to just walk back for about 5 or 6 seconds, so they're just outside a heartbeat range. Someone walks up to save them. You can see them walking up. You instantly get them because you camped the corpse, essentially. So
I hate corpse campers.
yeah, it is essentially, yeah, like, you trap one person. If anyone comes to get them, you're guaranteed pretty much another kill because you're watching what's happening.
And if they don't come and get them, you win anyway.
Yeah, technically, yeah. But during that time, you could be doing more generators in order to get out. But yeah.
Do all 4 need to get out to win?
Technically, if the killer gets a kill, then he wins. But if you escape, I guess you win because you didn't die.
Can you fight back as the survivors?
No. There is no fighting back. The only things that there are 5 items, I think, that you can get: a map that will show you the locations of the generators, a toolbox that will help you repair the generators faster, sabotage the hunter's trap so you can't use that particular trap anymore, or you can destroy the meat hooks, but they only have limited charges to use, a first aid kit that will help you heal people faster. So if someone gets hit, they'll limp, but they will also make noises. So if you try to hide from the killer, you'll be lying behind a rock, kind of whimpering, so he'll have an audio cue to hear you as well. Flashlight, which if you shine in the killer's eyes, blinds him for about 2 seconds, and if he's carrying someone, he'll drop them. Actually, I think that's it. It's only those 4 items, but it's a lot of fun. You probably won't get into the beta by now because I think they've stopped issuing keys on their site. But I'd highly recommend watching some of it on Twitch. It is a lot of fun. I heard about it and I wasn't sure about it, so I watched it on Twitch, and then I tried to get into beta and was lucky enough to get in, and it's tons of fun. It's super tense.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, when you play against a good hunter that isn't a little corpse camping bitch, it's a lot of fun trying to duck and dive and weave and dodge and save people while trying to do these generators and escaping. Or it becomes if it ends up 1 versus 1, it's kind of like a little who can find their target first. The killer can find the survivor. Obviously he wins, but the last person alive can exit via a trap door that appears somewhere randomly on the level. So if, let's say, the killer's really good or the survivors are really bad and you only get 1 generator by the time he kills 3 of you, that would mean 1 person has to find 4 generators, which is a bit unfair.
Mm-hmm.
So they've introduced a trap door that it spawns immediately on the level, so if you find it you would know where to run to, but if you haven't found it yet you need to hunt the position. And the idea is, rather than do generators, escape via trapdoor that lets you escape yourself.
Okay.
So, have they said how many different killers and levels they'll have?
There will be 3 different killers. They've announced all of them. There is the Jason Voorhees type guy who I can't remember what he is. There's a Wraith who can turn invisible and move around the map, but he can't attack while he's invisible. So, not making it super unfair, like he can just suddenly stalk and grab you without any warning, apart from the heartbeat, but you can't see where he is. And the Hillbilly, who seems crazy overpowered to me. He has essentially a sledgehammer and a chainsaw, and when he has his... It's only been a really short video clip of the reveal of him. When he's using the chainsaw, he can run at incredible speed. So you just catch people like that by the looks of it.
The first thing that popped into my head there was Tucker and Dale.
Yeah.
The first thing that popped into my head was every single fucking horror movie.
Yeah, it is every single horror movie trope that you can think of, but it is fantastic. It is a lot of fun. It is as much fun as I had with Evolve. I know a lot of people hated Evolve, but I really enjoy Evolve until all the microtransaction and in order to get you other characters, you have to buy 2 different fucking season passes bullshit. Essentially lock half the game behind 150 quid worth of microtransactions.
All the things I heard about Overwatch was more just it's a good game, but it's mostly only a good game if you're playing with 4 other people.
You mean Evolve?
What did I say?
Overwatch. God's sake, Ali.
I know. Really,
calling every game Doom.
Evolve is a lot more fun if you have people to talk to and they're your friends, but I still had a lot of fun playing.
Oh yeah, but I mean the overall...
Particularly playing as the monster. I love playing the monster because I would never go level 3 and become essentially an unstoppable tank. I would always stick at level 2 and have an even fight with people, and it was a lot of fun. Seeing, was this team able to work together to beat me, or was I just going to destroy them because they can't work together? It's as much fun as I've had with Evolve, but it's different because rather than being a 4 people hunt the killer and killer hunts you or runs away, it is purely you have to hide. There is no fighting this guy. He runs faster than you.
It's multiplayer amnesia.
Yeah, so even if you try and run away, he is going to catch you unless you use the environment to dodge. So there's a lot of juking going on, which is...
running down a corridor till there's a fork and then walking so that you can't see the trail what way you go.
Yeah, kind of stuff like that, yeah. Or what's going on right now is there's a thing that's been dubbed the House Truffle Shuffle, which is there's always a house somewhere in the map. There might be a couple of houses, but they'll always have 1 or 2 windows on them.
Wait, how big is this area? I was assuming this would all take place in one big house.
No, it's usually open forested areas that have small buildings. They're not big. They're kind of they're like little shacks.
So it's Slenderman.
So I'm guessing, have they said what their plan is for content afterwards? Because
no idea. I've not read too much into it. I've only just kind of got into it, and I just tried to get into the game as quick as possible so I could play it because the beta is super limited and for a short amount of time. So I spent a lot of time just purely playing as a survivor because I think that's a lot more fun.
Because as I was saying, like this would totally suit the environments of like your haunted house, like your haunted mansion type thing, your theme park, your like abandoned school type thing.
I don't think it would work so well for that because unless there was doors everywhere for you to always have a way in and way out apart from certain rooms, the killer would have too much of an advantage in that kind of area.
I mean, but that's just level design. You know, you can have a huge mansion where everything is basically interconnected. You know, secret passages and like
Abandoned asylum.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess there's always the possibility, but the levels that I've seen of them, there's like 5, maybe 6 levels. There's only 3, I think, that are available right now, maybe 4. And they're all kind of open wooded areas, but with different themes. Like, so one's a construction yard where there's like lots of kind of like mechanical equipment and stuff hanging around. One's essentially just a wood. One is surrounded by like log cabins and stuff and wheels and stuff. But they're all kind of the same theme, kind of like dark wooded areas with different kind of terrain objects.
See, that is the only thing like now that is not putting me off. It's definitely still a game that I would like to try out and see for myself. But I feel that if you're gonna go that horror route, like if you're gonna really lean into like the slasher fiction of it, like just having wooded areas over and over again kind of like misses the point. Like,
I don't know, because I've played on I'm pretty sure it's 4 maps, all 4 of the maps several times, and although there is a lot of similarity between them, each of them has their own unique things. Like, there's a logging area where there's like these large piles of logged woods, and that's really easy to hide behind.
Yeah.
But there's not much in the way of buildings. There's a building, I think, that's in there where it's just a really long log cabin where there's a couple of areas to jump in and out, but there's also a deep pit, so if you take the wrong corner, you're fucked and the killer's got you. But there's also one area where there is a 2-story house, which makes it really easy to keep the killer running for a long time and never be able to catch you.
You just play the Benny Hill theme tune over and over and over.
Essentially, yeah. There's one where there's like 2... It's a foundry? Yeah, it's a foundry, so there's like kind of like a metalworks / steam building in there, so there is like a 2-3 level area where you can hide along dust stuff in places. There's a lot of similarities, but it's good.
I guess the other question I have is like, what platforms is it on?
It's only on PC right now.
Yeah.
There's not any discussions to bring it to platformers that I'm aware of. So it's purely PC, but I don't care. It's awesome. It's really good. Like I said, you probably won't get into the beta at this point, but you can give it a go. You can go to their website, and at random times you can click a link to get someone to save you, and if 4 people will save you, then you get a beta key. But as to when those links on their site come active, it's entirely random. I sat for like 3 hours while watching some people play the stream with it on the side, waiting to hear that kind of heartbeat sound that indicates that the keys are available. So yeah, I eventually got one, but from watching it, tons of fun. Tons and tons of fun.
Yeah. There's also currently 10% off on Steam just now.
Yes.
How much is it?
It's $14.99 or $13.99, one of the two.
Seems like a really good price.
Yeah.
I was expecting 20 quid.
Yeah, it's $20, but it's like, I'm pretty sure it's $14.99. It's $13.49 or something like that right now if you buy it before it comes out.
Yeah.
Plus, if you own Payday 2, I think you get an extra 10% off as well.
I'd like. Hopefully it does well and they can, expand on that. Because like when Mark's saying things like, you could have a level set in a like abandoned hospital. That's it. Like that gets me going.
It's entirely possible they have got plans for that, but the stuff they've got right now are very.
Yeah.
It's quite similar ideas from what I've seen from their level design. It's kind of more sticking to the Friday the 13th one style of stuff, where it's kind of one open wooded kind of area.
It's the mother at the end, then you go on the boat in the lake.
Not quite that bad on top of it, the location.
So that seems like a good thing to throw out there for a beta, so people get used to the concept. So.
Yeah.
There is also, I think this game is doing very well at stealing the thunder from Friday the 13th, because that is a 1 versus 7 asymmetrical hunting game that is going to be coming out.
There's a Friday the 13th game?
Did you not know that? Yeah, there is a Friday the 13th 1 versus 7 coming out.
No doubt.
where you play as Jason Voorhees or one of 7 camp advisors or camp supervisors or whatever it is, and you are essentially playing.
Why did they have to be camp? It seems a bit tactless.
You, you I'm not going to explain to you about Camp Crystal Lake. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Funny.
So yeah, so you play as one of these like supervisor people, a la survivors, or you play as Jason Voorhees, the murderer. And there's essentially the same thing, but it's been in development for years, but there's been more news trickling out, and I think it's going to be coming out within the next 6 to 8 months, maybe. There's not been a lot of hype about it, but I'm very excited about it. And then I heard about Dead by Daylight, and I was like, oh, that is essentially Friday the 13th. Awesome, I will watch this. It looks great. And then I played it, and it is awesome.
Like, imagine the killer was chasing you through like a hall of mirrors. How fucking good would that be?
I'm sure that there are lots of people firing lots of ideas at them, and they'll probably try and do it because it seems like a really good dev team that's behind it. They're seem really active with the community, so hopefully they'll get a lot of support and do lots of DLC because it's a lot of fun.
Definitely sounds interesting. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can.
I've actually got to the point where I'm quite competent as a survivor. Like I usually, more often than not, I'll survive rather than get killed. So I'm not really too worried about the killer. But even then, well, you can't see the killer, and that heartbeat is pounding, and it's dark, so it's difficult to see him. Plus, you get. Down you go.
Do you find that there is tension and
There's loads, yeah. Like I said,
I mean, I don't know how scared you get at horror games in general, but do you feel that this works as a horror game as well as this sort of multiplayer game?
Definitely is. There's the survival aspect is very much there.
Yeah.
Even if you never see the killer the entire map,
you're always on edge. You're
always on edge because if you run, you make noise. When you stop running, you pant. So the killer, if he gets near you, will hear you until eventually you calm yourself down.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see.
If you stay still for too long, there are crows that are on the map, and if you camp a spot, like let's say you find a place that the killer, for some reason, never shows up in that map, the crows will start to circle you. So the killer's like, "There's a guy here. Yep, there's a dude right here."
Fucking asshole crows.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people have known it because I've watched some people playing on streams. Like when I can't, it's been really warm the last few nights. I've been kind of having trouble getting to sleep, so I've been watching some people play it on Twitch and watching it from the survivor's point of view. There's some people who are just sitting still for ages, and you can hear the crows really loud above them. It's like the killer will run past them because they're hiding in a locker or something, and they just didn't notice to open the locker, and they just completely ignored the crows. So I don't think a lot of killers really know about the crow thing, but there are a few people that do know about it. So if you see crows, you're fucked.
That's hopeful. Well, if the killer knows what that means.
Yeah, if the killer knows, eventually it'll come out though. With all things.
Or more, that seems something that they should be.
Yeah, that might get.
Yeah,
there is a short tutorial in the beta, but it's super short, super brief. Like this is the killer, this is your objective, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
This is the survivor, this is what you have to do, this is what you do.
Even pop-up tooltips of the crows are circling, better move, some shit like that.
Yeah, I imagine when it leaves beta there'll be more information, but it is very much purely just the core mechanics is there. There's not necessarily a lot of explanation about it. I imagine when the game goes full release there'll be a lot more data there. But it's a lot.
Space station. Sam Neill's chasing you.
Yeah. So there's 3 modes right now. There's play as survivor, play as killer, where you play as that person playing with a bunch of randoms and versus a random, and there's kill your friends, which is purely a play with people you know. So at the moment there's no way I've seen to get like Evolve. It was really difficult to get 3 of your friends together and play against
one person.
Yeah, play one random killer. There probably will be a way to do it, but it would probably be slightly more difficult. Like, imagine there's going to be a Steam join your friend's game, and as long as that lobby's got a space, you might be able to hop in. But when I've been playing the beta, the lobby is not empty for long. You're there for a couple of seconds, and then it's full. If someone leaves, it's filled a second or two later. So hopefully they'll introduce a way to kind of group up with a friend and then queue in order to we've got 4 friends versus the killer or whatever.
I watched Event Horizon fairly recently for the first time.
I've never seen that.
That movie's weird. That movie's really weird. It's all right. It's, if it wasn't directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, it would be a great movie. But it's a real Paul W.S. Anderson movie. But it's this weird Cthulhu-esque space movie. You should watch Event Horizon. It's on Netflix.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you should watch Event Horizon. Just try and forget that Paul W.S. Anderson directed it, even though everything about it screams Paul W.S. Anderson. I think is that us? Is that us for playing games?
Yeah, that is pretty much it. I've spent all my time playing Dead by Daylight because it's so much fun. A little bit of time on Dark Souls before I got into Dead by Daylight.
Maybe if it wasn't some Dark Souls in there, Darren.
Yep, it would be weird if I wasn't. Actually, I'm surprised I didn't play Dark Souls because yesterday was Global Reset Day for Dark Souls itself. So the Reddit for the original Dark Souls made it to 100,000 subscribers, and the mods for it decided, to try and run a little event to say, everyone on the 10th of June create a brand new character and we'll get like new hype for Dark Souls where everyone can do co-op or there'll be a huge invasion scene. So, there's a lot of multiplayer going on in the game since, it dies down over time because people move on to the new stuff. And From heard about it and they backed it, and it was like they were putting out a lot of stuff like June 10th, the Global Reset Day, where everyone creates a brand new character and play the game brand new. And
It automatically deletes your save.
no, it keeps all your stuff, but the idea was for everyone to create a brand new character, so you're all at the same summable range or the same invading range, and you play through the game and.
I feel sorry for the one guy who was like, "Oh,
I finally got Dark Souls.
I'm just gonna try. Oh, I'm dead. Why are these people coming in and murdering me?
It's such an old game." Yeah, but I'm surprised I didn't play it before that because it'd be quite fun to have done lots of invasions in Dark Souls. But Dead by Daylight was a lot more fun. It's so much. It's
sacrilege. That's
so
sacrilege to say that.
Until
any game is more fun than Dark Souls.
Shut up, Ali. There are lots of games more fun than Dark Souls in different ways.
Overwatch.
No, that's it. No.
Doom.
Yeah, in its own way, yes, Doom is probably more fun than Dark Souls.
Overwatch.
No.
Yep.
No.
Steal people's souls by ripping them out of their spine in Dark Souls. Sorry, Doom.
But yeah, I would strongly advise you to watch some Twitch of Dead by Daylight.
Probably do it in between Overwatch matches.
It's awesome.
Overwatch, yeah.
No. Stop.
Man, it was a week for news.
It was indeed.
It was a real week for news.
Are you wet, Ellie?
Am I what?
Soaking wet.
Oh.
With all the leaks this week?
No, I'm just I'm souped out. Had a lot of leek soup.
Oh.
Was it cock-a-leaky?
That's chicken and leek.
That's actually what that is. I've never had a cock-a-leaky soup. I'm probably going to let you take most of this, Mark, because you were the one just constantly telling us about all these leaks.
Yeah, I was posting in the games chat and our Slack channel.
My favorite Pokemon, Sparfetch'd.
It's technically a green onion because they don't have leeks in Japan, but never mind.
Yeah, locally it's a leak. International Farfetch'd holds a leak.
I'm trying to see if we have any non-E3 news, and we'll cover that first. Persona 5 had a date in the US.
It's made me sad because I know it's not coming out here on fucking
Valentine's Day next year.
Yeah, I know. Still nothing to do with Valentine's Day now.
You never know, they might do a global release. They just need to get,
Do you
Atlas
think they will?
I don't know. It depends on how much of a translatory job they need to do there.
What, between the US and the UK?
Yeah, well, US and Europe, remember?
True. True. Maybe not. Maybe not for long.
Who knows? But yeah, yeah, we'll see. Man, yeah, would that split the market?
I don't know. Ask
More
Atlas.
more game delays because people wanted to
Or
leave.
less game delays. We might just get the US version.
True.
Just all the U's are taken out.
Yeah. So that
Why would you take the U's out? Just leave them all in. The Americans have got it right.
what?
What?
Never mind.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
I know they don't.
The amount, the amount of problems I have with my CSS code because I keep putting U's in color.
Yeah, I get that a lot too in work.
Spelling grey the wrong way.
And both of those are different colors in CSS. So
Wait, grey and grey?
Yep.
yeah,
Oh, actually.
Yep.
It's annoying.
I know, right? Yeah. So Persona 5 is February 14th, 2017 in the US. No word on a EU release, but they have outlined a collector's edition that will feature a soundtrack CD, a 4-inch Morgana plush, a 64-page hardcover art book, steelbook case, and a school bag. Based on
Right.
like the traditional school bags in Japan, which are massive.
Gotta get that skill back.
Yeah. It's called the Persona 5 Take Your Heart Premium Edition.
Does it come with a pair of underwear that has love hearts on them?
No, or
They have been worn.
it's not in a pizza box either.
No, not in a pizza box. That's weird. I'm really, really looking forward to Persona 5, and I just...
As somebody who will never play that game looks rad. It looks really cool.
Persona 4 is an amazing game, top to
Yeah.
bottom.
I'll never play it either, but yeah.
I thought you were disagreeing with me that Persona 4 was a good game.
I have no idea. I've never played it.
That's fantastic.
Much like Overwatch, I have no interest in that game.
That's fine. But much like Overwatch, you can't call it a bad game. Oh, you can.
I can.
You're just wrong.
Watch. It's a bad game.
Yeah, I know. It's talking nonsense. No, I am. I'm really, really looking forward to Persona 5, and I just... I'm just worried that, because this kind of happened with Catherine, and thankfully for Catherine it worked out, that it spent, like, I was really looking forward to Catherine, and then an announced date came for Japan, and then an announced date came for the US.
Yeah, didn't we wait for a
We
while
waited a
after that?
long time for that game. So, yeah.
I feel like Atlas has got their shit together since then, though. So I don't know whether that's saying that they got bought by Sega since then. So
Yeah, so, I don't know.
I'm going to call it now. Like December this year.
Oh, wait, what that doesn't...
think?
What?
You think?
Yeah, yeah, they're just like, fuck you, US. We
Yep.
just everywhere else, and then you can get it on Valentine's Day.
Yep.
Merry Christmas from Japan.
Nah, it'll be December next year.
Yeah, it'll probably be December next year.
Speaking of next year, Horizon Zero Dawn was also delayed into February next year.
Oh, it makes me so sad.
I know, that game
I
also.
really badly want to play that game.
I want to see more of that game. I don't know.
Nope, I want to play that game.
It's got to be at Sony's press conference, right? I mean,
It's
it
gotta
has,
be.
it has to.
Yeah, they would have. Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
Because especially if they're delaying it till next year, they need to keep that.
Keep the hype up.
What have you heard about Horizon since then?
Nothing.
You like?
Shall I read out the statement that Guerrilla Games put out? That they said it wasn't an easy choice to make. We know how many of you have been anxious to play the game since we first announced it. However, we also want to ensure that Horizon Zero Dawn lives up to the visuals and gameplay quality that our games are known for. The new data affords us the extra time required to deliver fully on our ambitious vision for Horizon Zero Dawn. So it might just be a polish thing.
They don't have enough robot dinosaurs yet.
If it gets delayed after this, then questions could probably start being asked, but that's not that much of a delay, is it? When was it originally scheduled to be? Like fall?
I think it was. Sorry, what?
Like Q3, Q4?
Do you mean autumn?
Sorry, what?
Autumn?
Fall?
Autumn.
Fall.
Anyway,
Prepare for Autumnfall.
Yes, prepare for Autumnfall.
The Alan Wake's never cut, and
Yeah, that was what I was going on to.
continuing news that I just am sad about. Alan Wake 2 is still not a thing.
Nobody responded to my GIF that I put in Slack for that one. They're just flipping the table.
It didn't load for me.
All right.
I didn't care because like I haven't had much cares about Alan Wake.
So good.
The Alan Wake's so good.
So yeah, Remedy came out and said that while they have 2 games in development, neither of those is Alan Wake.
It's not fair. It's
That's
really
not right.
fair. Because it's going to take 7 years for them to make it.
The quote that came out was, "We feel that it's important to set the expectations right and let the fans, know that neither of the 2 projects currently in development is Alan Wake. We're currently working on something else, but at the same time exploring our opportunities in other mediums to tell more Alan Wake stories."
Alan Wake comic book coming 2019.
Surely a thing 2 would be a book.
Delayed until 2020.
Written by Stephen King. Whereas Alan Wake 3 is a Stephen King book written by Alan Wake.
Meta.
And then Alan Wake 4 comes out 2025.
Delayed until 2030.
It's just sad news, especially after the teasing they did in Quantum Break.
Oh, Alan Wake's so good.
You never know, it might be a curveball. With everything that was happening this week with all the leaks, they may have come out and said, no, it's not happening, and then it might show up.
That
The actual one bit of news that hasn't leaked.
Yeah.
I'll lose my shit. Your balance changes. You were talking about Doom multiplayer.
Doom got a patch. They're changing multiplayer patches. If I can find the actual, there you go, found it. So yeah, they're basically changing up the way the game plays in multiplayer. They're changing the way that weapons damage. Apparently, they're adding custom multiplayer games as well, which isn't in the actual game just now. There's talk of them adding deathmatch. They're basically, as I said earlier, they've kicked off Splash Damage from the project and have taken full control. And if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that this was done probably around the time that the beta came out and got that harsh kickback from the community. Because the campaign would have been done by then.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They've probably been working on it since. So if they can just crank up the speed and make it feel more like the campaign, then there's no reason why that multiplayer can't be really fucking good.
Would you play a lot of Doom multiplayer? If they made it better, would you?
Maybe, yeah. As I said, I didn't have that many problems with the other one from the beta. Ironically, I've had the multiplayer sitting there in the game. I just haven't touched it because I've been too focused on the campaign. If they come out and change it dramatically, don't get me wrong, there's some achievements for multiplayer anyway, so I'll be playing it. But I'm gonna 100% that game. But yeah, I'll check it out.
What happens if they add DLC? Are you then going to go and
Get that
100% it again?
Yeah, just get that DLC.
What if it's the worst DLC ever made? It's 50 hours long, and you start with 1 health, and it's just you walk forward for 50 hours, and then at the end,
so it's Fallout 4.
I was going to say, speaking of games and DLC, did either of you get a free copy of Fallout 4 and its DLC?
No, I didn't. When was it? This was on Thursday night, our time. The entire thing went free on the Xbox Store. The full game went free. The deluxe version went free, and the season pass went free as well.
Is there no way for them to tell, I suppose it's
advertising?
There was an announcement by a Microsoft support representative that says those customers who are able to get the Fallout 4 Deluxe Edition for free will have the game removed and their license is revoked immediately.
Yeah, so...
But also, another thing to come out of that is that everybody who jumped onto this and actually bought stuff would get $10 Microsoft Store credit. For essentially nothing.
So they're basically just having to give away free money because they have to take away all these licenses for
Yep.
games. Otherwise, they have to pay Bethesda a lot of money.
Yep.
That's pretty funny.
So, but if you get $10 for nothing, that's not bad.
Yeah.
When was the last time you got $10 for nothing? When was the last time you got $10?
I don't know. I can't remember last time I got $10.
I have $1, and that's probably the most dollars I've ever had.
I think the last freebie thing that I got was that Undertow.
God, that was a game.
No, it wasn't.
That was a game.
No, it wasn't. It was fucking just
Doritos Crash Course. And Doritos Crash Course was the Wipeout one.
the game that is backwards compatible on Xbox.
Yeah, that game's really good. That game is way better than it has any right to be.
Yeah, but that
It's
wasn't a compensation thing. That was just available for free.
But it's still free.
Yeah.
Undertow wasn't compensation.
Yes, it was. Remember, Xbox Live was down for like Christmas, and then they gave us Undertow.
Is that why they gave us Undertow? What about your when PSN went down and you got your free games then?
Oh, those were so good. I can't believe how amazing.
The original Infamous.
I got Ratchet and Clank.
Ratchet and Clank. Wipeout?
Yep.
I can't remember what the other ones are. I think 3's not bad for something I didn't get.
I got free games and then never played them because it's games I had no interest in.
Fair enough.
Yep. Speaking of games I have no interest in, Destiny's new expansion is going to have Galahorn in it if you pre-order it.
Are you going to pre-order it?
No.
Wow, you love Destiny.
Now I have one trophy left to get and I can finish that game forever.
Not until they add more.
Yeah, but it'll be done for me at that point.
So they hook you back in.
It raises a question for me. Like, they put out promotional information that said, Galahorn or Iron Galahorn, whatever the hell it's called. Get this, when you pre-order the DLC, can you get it another way? Is there going to be another method to obtain Galahorn year 3 or whatever it's going to be? Or
no, you don't want all the DLC to sell out, so you need to pre-order it.
That's true. Yeah, it would be rubbish if you sold out of your DLC.
Yeah, and happens.
No one would ever sell out of a digital object.
I mean, all the people trying to buy Fallout 4 DLC at the moment can't because everyone got it for free.
Yep.
Sold out. Yeah. I'd like to say I'm done with Destiny, but then I bought the Taken King last time.
I know. I want to say I'm done with it as well, but
just,
I watched the trailer for it and went, ooh, that looks kind of cool.
Every time I go back to it, I'm like, yeah, this is really fun, and then I hit a point where I'm like, this is...
It's Destiny again.
Yeah.
I can say that I've never started with Destiny and never will, so...
You lucky bitch.
Ironically, this leaked out as well. This leaked out early before everything else.
Yep.
Weird week for...
Just no one can hold on to their news this week, it seems.
Like Bethesda.
Yep.
Who wants to play Skyrim? Mark's growing a shame beard.
Now see, I'm really not surprised about this. Like
this makes total sense. Like the amount that this sold, this makes perfect fucking sense. There's
not even that. Like Bethesda openly said that in order to get used to using the next generation platforms, they essentially redid the entire air Skyrim for the new generation, but just decided not to release it. So for them to then release what is essentially already a completed piece of work isn't a surprise.
Yeah. I guess I'll have paid mods in it.
I think they'll experiment with the console mods with it.
Well, they're already out in Fallout, but I mean, remember the paid mod thing that they were going to go for?
Yep, and
that was a Steam thing.
No, but they wanted to make that cross-platform.
Did they?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that was their big strategy for making money.
That was their big strategy. Not just we'll release a big game and expensive DLC every couple of years and everyone will buy it.
The amount of money that gets poured into that versus the smaller amount of money you can get from mods.
I know, but they do well. They do fine.
Do you think they add the Fallout 4 crafting into this?
No.
Hopefully not.
No, there will just be a straight up move
with all the DLC
to pretty looking next gen.
I'll probably buy that.
Yeah, I will probably
Um,
buy it as well,
the
but
only the only
not
reason I
surprised
was
myself.
surprised by it is just because Bethesda have never been known. They've always released Game of the Year editions, but they've never released a remaster.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you
Um,
about the reception to Fallout 4 then?
it was I it was divided from what I could see. I saw so many people saying they loved that game, and so many people saying they really didn't.
Yep.
And I landed on it. Just never grabbed me. It just
Same.
never
Yeah.
hooked me.
I mean,
I
I mean, I'm
enjoyed
currently
it that I
engaged.
played, but it didn't demand that I go back and play it.
Yeah.
I'm currently engaged to one of the biggest Fallout fans I know, and even she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
on board with it.
I think it's just come down to the thing of I prefer Elder Scrolls over Fallout. They are similar games, but they're very different games. One
I've put stupid amount of times into Skyrim across many
shame beard,
platforms.
shame
Yeah.
beard, shame beards.
Speaking of games jumping platforms, another game that's jumping platforms, XCOM 2. It's hitting consoles in September.
No, it's not. They said
No
that
current plans for console.
no, yeah, it's a PC only game.
Yes, until they said it's coming to consoles in September.
No.
They announced it and everything.
Game developers don't lie, Dan.
Exactly. So they announced that it's coming out in consoles.
No,
It's
no, they
happening.
said this is lies. They were
No.
like, nah, consoles.
Let's see. Tuesday the 7th of June. Two key games announced this morning. The turn-based strategy title from Firaxis Games would be released on both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
See, that's it's a fake article.
Oh, okay. So
Do you think that's the main team then, or do you think they've
No, I think the main team's working on Civilization constantly, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
yep, the beta team works on any other game.
Man, I should go back and play Civ. Civ 6 came out, didn't it?
No, Civ 6 is coming out at the end.
Is 6 coming out, right? I
Yeah.
wasn't sure yet. I thought I'd missed that.
No, 6 is still a good few months away, but it is coming out.
It was the space one that was literally just Civ.
Beyond Earth.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that just was crap.
Mm.
And they had to release like 4 major patches in order to fix it.
That's a common thing now.
Yeah. Well, it depends, because there weren't that many problems with The Witcher 3.
There were quite a few problems with The Witcher 3
There
when it
was
first came
there was
out.
one or two things, but nothing entirely game breaking.
Yeah.
Nothing like you can't expand to this area or you can't build ships because the aliens in the sea on this planet are so ridiculously overpowered they'll destroy all your civilization.
Well, I would be worried and very surprised if that was a problem in The Witcher.
No, I'm talking about that's a problem that Civilization Beyond Earth had.
So yeah, I'll definitely play more XCOM if that game runs better than it apparently did on the PC. Did they fix that stuff? Does XCOM 2 play okay now?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything out of that camp.
Because that was a big thing. It was pretty much the same as XCOM 1,
Crashed to
where the
desktop and stuff. Yeah.
frame rate was pretty terrible. Yeah, but I would absolutely play more XCOM. That first one was a fantastic game. They all died. They also Bethesda. The leak was Prey 2. 'Cause that's apparently still a thing.
Oh, I so badly wanted it to be a thing. Really. I cannot wait to them to actually announce that on stage. If that's actually going to be a thing, I'll be really happy.
Is it the Prey 2 we know and love?
We'll find out in a few days.
We'll find out tomorrow.
No, yeah, that's right. For some reason, I thought theirs was the 13th.
What was his name? Tommy.
Gun.
Tommy.
But yeah, leaked as even more games that everyone obviously wanted.
Did people,
Yeah, that one came out of
wanted a very
nowhere.
specific Prey 2.
I
Don't say that's one everyone wanted.
I want it, therefore everyone wants it.
I think everyone who saw that
You
demo wants it.
have a
So does
very
Mark.
strange
Mark really wants
view
that
of
game
Overwatch.
as well. Do you want to
No,
play
no.
Prey 2, Ali?
I want a very specific Prey 2. I don't just want Prey 2.
You want 2008 Prey
I
2?
You want
want
2008 that we've
I
seen
want
Eurogamer Prey
2008
2?
demo Prey 2.
Yes, that's what we all want. That's
I
why.
just want I just want to play that tech. I want to aim that gun in that guy's face and then he freaks out when I shoot his bodyguard. That's what I want. I don't want Prey 2. I want whatever the fuck they were making.
Yes.
Not necessarily the same thing. I do want Wolfenstein 2 though.
Yes.
That was it. Like on the run up to this press conference, we were wondering what they were going to have, and turns
Yeah.
out we now know. So that's I think
mean-
they're going to re-reveal Elder Scrolls Legends as well, which is the card
The
game.
card
thing.
game? Yeah.
Let's-
No, wasn't it originally announced as Elder Scrolls : the card game?
Something like that.
Yeah. Imaginative.
Do you have
Um,
anything else? Any surprises?
Evil Within 2, that's a surprise.
That's how many borders this time?
It's Evil Within without borders, or Evil Within Sans Frontier if you're going for the.
It's more evil without.
Oh.
Without borders, yeah.
And they base it on the state line just to be sure.
Mm-hmm. What else came out? Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers got leaked. Ed Boon.
So Ed Boon has been teasing this on Twitter for a while because he changed
was it?
his Twitter handle to like a 2.
Yeah, but also kind of looked like an 11.
Yep.
And then when it got leaked by GameSpot, he continued
Christmas list.
messing with people. Yeah, he scored them off his Christmas list. But yeah, I thought I would pick up MKX, and I just didn't. And Mortal Kombat was the only fighting game that I had any interest in anymore. So Injustice 2 doesn't do it. Like, I played a bit of Injustice 1 and it was fine. Like, it was a Mortal Kombat game with DC characters. But it just never grabbed me.
I enjoyed Injustice.
Yes, you played a ridiculous amount of that.
I did.
So, what's your thoughts on
Yeah, no,
Injustice 2?
it seems interesting because what they've done this time is they said that it's going to be based on loot now and like RPG mechanics. So basically, after the end of every match, you will level up and get like a specific piece of gear that you can equip, and your character will be different by the end.
But how, like, I think that would kind of hinge on, is it just going to be you go through the arcade mode or the story mode or whatever, and it's just you beat the first match. Here's something that gives you, like, do you always get the same items or is it loot?
No, I think it's like randomized loot boxes.
Like, that seems weird.
Yeah, and like they've not said whether this is across the story mode and multiplayer, but I'm assuming they have to kind of do that.
No, surely
they
not. Because
couldn't do that.
there's going to be, let's say, you buy the game and play the multiplayer for like 3 months, and then I decide to buy the game. Suddenly, I'm at a huge 3-month disadvantage.
So I think if they were going to do that, it would probably, I don't know, like they might have like a custom thing, like a rank thing, because I think there's going to be like an overall character level as well as loot. So I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work. I guess we'll find out at E3, but that's the way that they were teasing, is that it's going to be like your character will change after every battle depending on what you equip and like what you get, and that's what they were told. They added new characters as well, like Supergirl's in there, Gorilla Grodd's in there.
When's
Yeah, Winston.
he's got a bubble shield and glasses.
So I don't know what this will be like. I'm also hoping that they change Batman to be less of a just counter everything character this time around, because most of the moves that you had with that were all like, yep, you have to crouch in a specific position, and then like as soon as they come in, you like core circle back, and then you base the move off of that.
Fighting game talk.
Yeah.
Brain counting.
I enjoyed
So
it. I
yeah,
enjoyed the
yeah.
the way that Injustice One worked. Be interested to see what they do with it based on what they did for MK11, MK10. But
Well, actually, they're only going to release the versus mode at first, just for the fighting game scene, and then the story mode will come 8 months down the line.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Written by
yeah,
Brian Michael Bendis.
I don't want any part of that game then.
Why?
But no, that's good because Brian Michael Bendis cannot write team up
Wait,
stories. He
this,
can write individual stories, but
yeah, he was the one. He's the one that works with Alex Maleev a lot, isn't he?
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, like he can't do like team up stuff. All his team up stuff's
yeah.
garbage, and his event stuff's even worse.
Spider Woman was good. Who was? What was the other? What was the one that? Ah, I have nothing to base this off of.
Scarlet,
That's the one. Thanks. Did that ever? Did that keep going?
I think they finished it. It was like 4 issues. I think
Do you
they
still
finished
buy
it.
comics?
No, I can't remember the last time I picked up a comic book.
Yeah, same. It is a shame because like I really enjoyed it. It's just such an expensive fucking hobby.
I want to pick up the Batman stuff that I've missed.
Yeah. I mean, I think it eventually goes into the point of, are you happy to wait for the collections to come out?
Have you
But it
seen
what?
some of the latest twists in some of the Batman stuff?
Oh, you mean that there are 3 Jokers?
There are 3 Jokers, yeah. What the fuck is that all about?
I bet you
Well,
see how that works.
Yeah.
so what?
Yeah,
Marvel announced they were making a terrible decision, and then DC went, "Ah, we'll do the same."
And Joker
What?
shows up and just
What
smells,
one of our
says
characters?
"Hail Hydra."
Oh. No, it turns out the Joker's been good all along. He actually works for the UN.
Hail, yeah.
Fucking. Oh. Anyway. What else? It's not on here, but there's a Call of Cthulhu game coming.
I've heard about that.
That's been in the works for a while. That one.
Yeah, it's Cyanide Studios that's making it. Who made Styx, Master of Shadows?
Right.
They've made a lot of other like
They also have another Styx game coming out this year.
yeah, but they made like Horse Racing Simulator before that. Long category of I don't want to call it shovelware.
Horse Racing Solitaire.
No,
That's a Pokemon company.
that is the Pokemon company. But yeah, no, it's I was the more interesting thing I found was just Zoe Quinn was talking on Twitter about what makes a good Cthulhu game, or what could make a good Cthulhu game, and it was just really interesting because I've read a lot of H.P. Lovecraft, and I've always wanted a good adaptation or into a movie or a game, and it's so difficult because most of what happens in Call of Cthulhu or Cthulhu stories is absolutely nothing. Like it's all,
Irreverent madness.
exactly, it's all about unseen horrors and how do you do that in a game. And I heard
I'd like to remind everyone at this point that there already has been a Call of Cthulhu game, and
there's
it
been a
wasn't
lot of Call of
great.
Cthulhu
Yeah.
games. What was it? The third person one?
Yeah, the
First,
Xbox
no,
version.
no, the first person one.
Yes.
That was apparently meant to be really good, but extremely broken.
Yep.
Like as I call it, like it worked as a Call of Cthulhu game. It just didn't work as a game. But yeah, it's just I'd be. I hope. I hope that they are Cthulhu like fans. Like I hope they do enjoy because I think it plays a big part. Like Guillermo del Toro was going to make a Cthulhu movie at one point.
Yeah, he was making Mountain of Madness, wasn't he?
But he wanted like $80 million or more than that to make a R-rated Cthulhu movie, and
Well,
that
it's got,
was never
he
going to
has a
happen.
specific Rim 2 now, so he's not.
Yeah, but it's more just like I think he could do a good job, especially costume wise. But it's about the teas basically. Um,
Earl Grey, Darjeeling.
why not even bother, Mark? Why not even bother? And yeah, She kind of summed it up by saying, "Watch more Twilight Zone, and then just adapt that into like Call of Cthulhu." You get me?
Yep.
Would you either of you ever been interested in Cthulhu?
I've watched playthroughs of the other Call of Cthulhu game, but I'm not
Mhm.
sure what this one has to offer or anything. So
Read any of the stuff or?
something
It,
I've been intrigued to pick up. Like I've been intrigued to pick up like Mountains of Madness and see what
well,
that.
I've actually got a collection of like some of the best stories, so I could bring that over next week. But it's especially as someone because I know you like your horror like I do. Although our tastes may vary at some points, It Follows is a good movie. It's a great movie. Um, but yeah, it's you just kind of have to get round his horrible, horrible racism. Um,
Well, that's
but
an
he
era thing more than anything else.
it is and it isn't. He was kind of a horrible person. Just wrote good horror. Um, but yeah, it's a very different type of horror than what you get these days. It is all about the suspense. It's all about leaving it to the imagination. And a lot of horror these days can't. They don't want to do that. They just want it to be jump scares and gore a lot more than anything else, which is not really horror. Is just the I could put a raccoon in your cupboard and you'd fucking shit yourself. Doesn't mean I'm good at horror.
Conjuring 2's out this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm interested. I've not seen any of the reviews yet. But yeah, I'm interested to see how that is because that is what I wanted from a Conjuring 2 is just the continued adventures of the family of ghost hunters. Um, horror
Yeah,
movies are so hard to horror's so hard to do.
I think I'll be going to see it this week. So,
Yeah.
moving on, shall we cover the last of the E3 news before
Sure.
we wrap up? Sony has confirmed that the PlayStation Neo exists, but it won't be at E3.
Um,
Is that a surprise?
well,
I think that is quite a big surprise.
Kotaku confirmed that the PlayStation Neo exists.
Multiple sources confirmed.
Yeah, multiple sources confirmed. Um, yeah.
I'm very surprised it's not coming to E3 because I think it's something that they need to do a good job of explaining and setting right in people's eyes around just, hey, here's another expensive platform that
Was
you may
the
or may not want.
Did the quote say that it wouldn't be there, or was it? Because I thought I had read that it was not going to be a focus, so they might gloss over go over a few bits and pieces.
I'm looking for. I'm looking for the actual quote. Doesn't actually say, but it did say that.
The Andrew House stuff.
Yep. Does not say, but apparently that is what will happen. They did confirm that all the games that will be compatible will have to have an actual download for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing that if they're not showing PlayStation Neo, the majority of their conference will be spent talking about VR.
Well, you'd hope, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Because that thing is what, out in October?
In an interview with the Financial Times, Andrew House has confirmed that
There
the
will
more
be an
powerful
announcement.
PlayStation 4, codename Neo, is coming, but it will not be unveiled at E3.
Announcement, yeah.
Announcement of an announcement.
Great.
Yep.
But yeah, I think they need to focus. I don't see that as a particularly bad thing. I think they need to focus on their VR stuff. I think they need to make sure people will want that. They need to show it with games, not just tech demos at this point. I mean, it comes out in what, October?
Isn't that what I just said?
I don't know. I don't listen to you. But yeah, they do need to start hyping that up a bit more.
Because they haven't shown any first-party VR stuff at all, have they? So that's something they have to cover. But then also the worry here is that they give Microsoft the advantage by giving them the space to talk about their new shit.
Yeah. But they're also in Microsoft are technically also in the same boat. They
Yeah,
just have
treading water, shall we say?
well, no, I'm meaning they have a new version of their console coming out next year. They also just have another one coming out this year. Like Sony don't
I
have
bet
that in between, so it's not as big a focus.
I bet the announcement of that is that they focus on the main thing and then say for people who aren't ready to upgrade yet, well,
We've
here's
got the
the
Xbox 360.
no, here's the slim, cheaper version of the Xbox One.
Don Matrick rises from the grave. Did we talk about Allison Road getting cancelled last week?
No, we didn't.
I
That
don't think
happened
we did.
after the podcast, I think.
Allison Road got cancelled, and I'm really
Yes.
upset about
I'm
that.
super upset about that as well.
Did they release a
And
statement about that? They said they were going to.
that was my next question. Was I don't think they have.
They
They said
said
later in the week.
Yeah, they said they were going to, but I don't think they have released anything yet.
Makes me wonder what happened there.
God knows.
Yeah.
Undisclosed reasons. Nope, nothing yet.
Ah.
But yeah, one to keep an eye on to see what happened with that. Moving quickly on before we run out of time.
We're rapidly running out of time.
Dead Rising 4 is the thing.
Cool.
It's going to be announced
Kill
at
your zombies.
Microsoft's conference, I guess. This might be Capcom's finished game that they actually put out this year.
Zombies.
Zombies. No one excited for that one?
I get I don't have an Xbox One.
Yeah, but regardless, I mean, like, just the concept of like a Dead Rising 4.
Nope, I've never had any.
Without playing Dead Rising, the last one I played was Dead Rising 2, and that was a long time ago. It depends what they do with it. I think it's just too early to say. The concept could still be fun. It's always been fun to just run around murdering zombies.
Well, the leak this time
what-
was that it was going to be almost like a retelling of the first game.
Is it not? I don't know. I don't know.
The leak screenshot had like Frank West in like the snow.
That's the first one.
Yeah, but the first one was entirely set inside the mall at Christmas time. So this one is supposed to take place inside the entire town.
It wasn't Christmas.
Yeah, it was.
It wasn't Christmas.
It was the Christmas rush.
What?
Yeah.
It wasn't Christmas. It was no the first one. That was not Christmas. I don't remember seeing a single Christmas tree in that mall. It was not Christmas.
We have time to fact check. We can cover that next week if we need to correct ourselves.
I don't know. Sure, go for it.
Yeah, and just see what they do with it. Microsoft needs a few good titles, shall we say, to differentiate itself. There's also a rumor of like another zombie game, but people are getting confused as to whether that was going to be in our State of Decay or whether that is Left 4 Dead. But I'm going to assume it'd probably be the former rather than the latter.
It wasn't Christmas.
Yep. Aside from that, Halo Wars 2 is getting an open beta this week as well throughout the entirety of E3.
Sure. Either you excited for that?
I might check out the open beta and see what it's like, but I didn't play the first one. So,
All units.
Yeah, I know there's no units, but as much as I know about that one.
RTSs have never really been my thing.
I've been getting the itch to go back to StarCraft, but I've had to go the first one, like those StarCraft 2. So like
the first
yeah,
StarCraft.
the first StarCraft 2.
That came out in 2000.
But I've had to like go through like loopholes to get back into my Blizzard account. So
Yeah. You need to get rid of your authenticator.
yep, and then like they're like, you need to send us like
Yep.
ID. It's like, cool.
It's really weird taking a photo of your passport and sending it to Blizzard.
Some undisclosed email address.
Yeah, this guy is just like, can you just send me your passport photo? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. So I should get back into that. Yeah, I think that's about it for news. Obviously, we'll have more to cover as time goes on with E3 coming up. next week's podcast, even though you're not here, Darren, will be
We
has some interesting
packed full
stuff
of
to talk
info.
about.
Are we planning on doing podcasts during the week for E3?
I would probably say no.
Dave Rose is definitely not going to be on it. Unless he's in the room, I don't believe it's going to happen.
We'll confront him about that on Monday. Don't worry.
I'll confront him about it right now. Here we go. Wouldn't that be the surprise if he was just sitting next to me every
Appears
week?
out of the ether.
Oh, he always does.
Anything you have hopes on for E3?
What hopes have I got for E3? None. I don't know.
I want to see what this Scorpio is. This Xbox Scorpio. That's
Yeah, I do want to hear more about this because I'm already on the defense with Xbox One since the whole Slim thing, and if this is just going to be another weird push, it might push me to just wait even longer to buy an Xbox One or whatever the Xbox 1.8 or whatever the hell they're going to call it.
Scorpio.
I want to be surprised, and I know that is a cop out, but I do like it's
I think
more
we
and
know.
more.
I think we know the main stuff.
Exactly, but over the years, it's become less. Like Horizon Zero Dawn was a big surprise for me last year, and how much like that really grabbed me.
Yeah, I think in terms of I think there's a lot of unknowns with Sony's VR stuff.
Yeah, like
But,
that is my main thing. I want to go in there and someone to just be like, here's this thing, and I'm blown away by it.
you know what I want? Shadow of Mordor 2.
I don't want Shadow of Mordor 2. I want the what's it called? I want Nemesis System 2.
All right, yeah.
I don't need another Shadow of Mordor game. I don't need it to be a Lord of the Rings game.
It wasn't a Lord of the Rings game, though. It was a Middle-earth game.
Gollum was in it.
But it was a Middle-earth game.
Gollum was in it.
Gollum was in The Hobbit.
Exactly.
Gollum was around for a long time before The Hobbit as well.
Exactly.
That
The
doesn't
Hobbit:
make it Lord of the
Lord of
Rings.
the Rings.
That doesn't make it Lord of the Rings.
Fucking Lord of the Rings game.
Middle-earth.
Fuck you. Despite the fact that it's called Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor. No, I do want to see more of that. I want that system because no one's used it. No one's done anything similar since.
If I had to hazard a guess as to where we might see that outside of it, I would say we might see it in the Suicide Squad game.
No.
Because if you finished
No!
if you finished Arkham Origins, they make a pretty big teaser for Suicide Squad stuff.
Arkham Origins?
Yep.
Not the last one, the one before that?
Yep. Did you finish Arkham Origins?
Yeah.
You don't remember there's a scene with Slade in the jail cell at the end and Amanda Palmer comes
I
up?
don't remember a lot about Arkham
Alright,
Origins.
well, unfortunately I do, so...
Yeah, unfortunately it was taken over by the shit that is Arkham Knight. It's not shit.
It's not Overwatch.
Mark, don't start me! I expect that from Darren, but I expect better from you. It's antagonizing me. I'm gonna go and play more Overwatch.
I'm gonna go play more Dead by Daylight.
Are you wearing a NASA t-shirt?
Yes.
Have you ever been to NASA?
No.
That's fair enough.
My other half has, though. She was at Cape Kennedy and brought my t-shirt back.
Just because you wear a t-shirt with something, that doesn't mean you have to be there. I wear a Jurassic Park t-shirt.
That's why I said fair enough. I was generally just wondering if he'd been to... I wasn't like, you've never been... Name me 3 of NASA's albums, Darren! I was just merely curious if he had been to NASA. Dickhead. And on that note, you two keep ending these podcasts for me on a really angry note. Yeah, we'll probably be doing Twitter stuff. If not on the Headset Abuse accounts, we'll be doing it on individual accounts. So if it happens that way, I'll post all that onto the Headset Abuse Twitter, which is at Headset Abuse.
Yep.
You can also email us if you've got any questions in general or about E3. We are a bit short on time at headsetabuse at hotmail.co.uk. And you can always check us out on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/headsetabuse. Thanks for joining me, assholes.
No worries, dickhead.
Yeah. They go cry. And on that note, we will see you all next time. Have a good E3.